better be. Here we go. This week on Erotic Awakening, the Dominant Flex, Minotaurs, and Dawn's solo tour.
Welcome to Erotic Awakening, an exploration of all things erotic. If you are offended by adult topics or prohibited by law, we recommend you stop listening right now.
The Erotic Awakening podcast and
You almost
all workshops by Dan and Dawn are offered free of charge to our community.
Because of the expenses involved, we are grateful to those that support us through Patreon and donations.
People like awesome Jeanette.
And Michelle.
No, you can't just say Michelle. You got to put an adjective in front of it.
Oh, I don't know Michelle. So,
awesome Jeanette.
Awesome Michelle. Fantastic Michelle.
The wondrous Mistress K.
And, oh, you left this one for me. Nyam Meow.
Nyam Meow, perhaps.
I like Nyam Meow.
And also...
I like how that feels in the mouth. Nyam Meow.
We hope we got your name right there. Also, we wanted to mention Sarah, who sent a direct donation as well. Very kind of everyone. Thank you very much, everybody.
This is really cool. So I've actually done, 4 workshops over the last week. So it actually feels kind of like I'm appreciated for doing all of that, because I do put a lot of time into it and a lot of energy and things like that. Plus the stuff that we do together with the podcast. And
4 workshops over the last couple of days, including one just an hour ago.
Yeah. So
although that was more of the...
It was more of a chat, but it's still energy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But
time out of the day, and yeah.
Absolutely. I withdraw my butt. Today on the podcast,
your butt.
we are going to be talking about the dominant flex as well as some other things. And let's go ahead and get started with that. So, Dawn, last week on the podcast, we talked about advanced submission.
We did.
And that was all about you.
That was, the way we did it was all about me. Yes.
So this week, what I want to talk about is, and this came up as, we've had this conversation, I've had this conversation a great number of times, that just because you are a dominant, whether you identify as a dominant or a leader or a master or whatever, doesn't mean that you can be an asshole. Doesn't mean that you always put whatever you want first in spite of anyone else, in spite of your submissives and slaves.
Sorry, I just had a word pop into my head. You can't be a domadic.
Domadic?
You have to be a dominant, not a domadic.
Fair. That being in that leadership role doesn't mean that you get to just that you get to be manipulative or an asshole or any of that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly. Sorry, I was leaning in to check the chat.
The flip side of that is, though, right? So we were having this conversation with a bunch of old timers in Power Exchange. And what I mean by old timers, not necessarily older people, but people who have, like us, been doing it for a significant number of years.
I think the least amount is 7 years and the most amount is 35 years.
And the average is 20.
Right.
So a lot of people with a lot of experience, right? And we always rag on, the guy or girl that jump on FetLife and say, I am Mistress Badass. If you are submissive, kneel to me now. And if you don't kneel, you're not a real submissive, right? We always mock those people. But the dominant flex, though, on occasion, though, I do find that it is valuable, necessary, and simply enjoyable to flex on occasion. And I came up with this term flex in one of these.
We kind of can visualize that. Like,
yes.
I'm flexing.
We came, I'm not going to flex because we're on camera and I'll be all embarrassed and shit. We came up with this idea that sometimes I will give you orders to do things just because I can. Whether it is, now there's a lot of things that I order you to do because it serves a purpose. For example, not 30 minutes ago, I was walking the dog. As I went to leave, I said, make me a tea, a green tea, right?
Yes, sir. And
you said, yes, sir. And you got me my green tea. And that's not a flex. That is simply me as a leader in a power exchange relationship saying, I need my slave to go do a thing. Perfect, right?
Right. I mean, and logistically, right? You're getting ready to walk the dog. We're getting ready to do the podcast. I'm getting ready to do the show notes. Slave, make me a tea while you're at it so that it's ready for me when I walk in the door.
Right. The flex would be, had I made my own cup of tea, and therefore, I'm in the kitchen making my own cup of tea. Maybe you're in the living room watching television.
Right.
Doing something nice and relaxed. Or doing something very significant, busy. You've got your laptop up doing something, right? The flex is if I go back into the living room and I say, go get my tea, right? Obviously something that there's no purpose in it, right? There's no value in it. It's not logistics.
Right.
It is not to serve me in some great grandeur way because it gives me the energy and opportunity to do something else, right? It is simply me reflexing. That's the term we're using, right? Me saying, I am the dominant. You'll do what the fuck I say, even if it doesn't mean anything, except for I get to order you to do things.
And I actually think those are very needed in a power exchange relationship.
How does that not make me an asshole? Why is it needed?
Why is it needed? Because I don't want you to be telling me to do things. Yes, we're a team. And yes, I like you telling me to do things that make things logistically easier for you. I like making your world easier, right? Mm-hmm. That is one of my purposes. That's one of my drives. But I also like to be treated as a slave, as a follower, as an obedient submissive, as a whatever word you want to use. Mm-hmm. And I want that dynamic to be, I guess the word I was going to use was fluffed. I want it recognized. And if it's recognized, if it's fluffed, that is exactly what you're doing. You could walk into the living room and say, that you want me to go into the kitchen and pour out your tea and make you a complete fresh cup of tea.
Right.
Just because. Mm-hmm. And that makes me Twitter-pated. Because you're recognizing the relationship.
And that is even more a powerful flex because it is not only, is it kind of a unnecessary, it is also somewhat wasteful.
Yeah.
It is wasteful in time. It is wasteful in tea.
Right.
But I don't have to care. Mm-hmm. I get to make those decisions. And part of the flex is to not explain it, to not, unless your explanation is because I want it. That's okay, right? Or just not explain it. Just go do this thing. See, a lot of the times we think one of the things that I can order you to do and have ordered you to do and do order you to do is something like suck my cock, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's not a flex now, right? Because I do get legitimate benefit from that, but you get benefit from that too. And I know that feeds our dynamic. That's one of those things we've developed over our relationship that feeds our dynamic.
Right.
So it was a good flex in the beginning, but in the beginning it's more than that, more than a flex. In the beginning, it is me claiming my power. It is a bonding thing. It is a relationship building thing. Therefore, it has purpose. A flex does not have that depth of purpose. It is much more of like you said, it's a fluffer. It's a simple reminder, And
I like those reminders. It's a reminder that we are not husband and wife, even though we're husband and wife, but we are more than that. We are a hierarchical relationship. This is what we signed on to be. And for me, if things like that aren't done, then we are just going to melt into a vanilla relationship. So it takes, you have to be aware, right? It takes presence, I guess, to remember to do that. So, because, we're in COVID right now, right? So we are quarantined together right now. And someone even asked us what rituals we're doing. And we're like, ooh, we haven't been doing rituals because you're not leaving for work.
Right.
Therefore, there's no reason for me to get up early and make your coffee and make your lunch and put your clothes out and then make the bed and then, all these things. Instead, you're napping whenever you get a moment free on your day calendar and, things like that. So we've kind of back to where some people are digging more into their power exchange because they're home together. We've kind of gone really casual because we don't have those separation moments.
It's not just
leaving and going.
Yeah, it's not just the separation moments, but what you're explaining is the trigger, right?
Right.
I'm home from work, so
do
this
thing.
is the ritual thing, or it's time for this. So right? you're right. We lost those reminders that this is the trigger that activates that ritual.
Right. So we don't have those daily things going on right now. Our fault. We can fix it. But when you do the flex, that helps with the whole being casual and at home sort of thing. So, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm not just doing the dishes to do the dishes. I'm doing the dishes because I'm taking care of Dan. And that all comes into my head because you flexed the day before with a cup of tea or whatever. I mean, it recharges. It recharges the energy. So, because we don't have the rituals right now.
But has it ever been where I flex and your perception of that flex is asshole? For example,
I'm going to say, I'm going to have to think about that because I can remember something that you've done as a flex, but not to me.
Go on.
To someone else. I think of this as a flex. Maybe it was a bonding moment. Maybe it was a challenge is the wrong word. But do you remember with Bat?
I was going to say, if this involves Karen, it was not a flex.
No.
Or it was a flex. That fails.
No.
Karen,
No.
for people that don't know, was a vanilla partner of mine for 12 years that we weren't really power exchangers.
No, you guys were, no, no. So Bat.
Yes.
At the beginning, you renamed her as Kame, Bat.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
And then told her because she was, shit, there's a word in my head and I can't think of it.
Researcher?
Academic.
Academic,
Yeah,
yes, an
academic
academic.
researcher.
Yep.
And you told her she could not research the word, that she had to use it and could not research it.
Right.
Which totally fried her brain. So is that a dick move, a flex, a bonding, showing her who's in charge because you guys were still new? You know, what sort of, would you consider that a flex?
No, that to me is that's more of a bonder. That's more of, see, and here's the difference between for a straight up flex and some of the other commands that I might give, like that, right? Like if I tell you to make the bed every night, right? That's not just a flex. That's a thought out. So here's a good leader in these relationships, right? Has some skill at actually, when I give you this command, it will cause this effect and this ripple effect and this strengthening of yourself or this strengthening of our relationship. That was when I tell you to do something that is core to you, researching words you don't understand, and I tell you not to do that. It will be frustrating and you will have to surrender more deeply to me.
Oh, so it's more like a lesson.
It's more like
instead of a flex.
Yes.
Okay.
I think of flex as more of an immediate, instinctive, just fucking do it. Boom. Right? Now it's a thin line at this point for me because there's very few things that I have to give great thought to. So let me ask you a couple. We're gonna play a game on the Erotic Weekly Podcast.
I'm still noodling on whether you've if there's been a flex that I haven't enjoyed or something, however you worded that.
And if our studio audience, since we're streaming live on YouTube at the moment, and if you're listening to this podcast when I post it on Tuesday, we're no longer streaming live. Don't try and log in. Would like to play as well, feel free. So we're going to play a game.
Just remember there's a lag.
Yes,
there's a
delay.
lag, so we're aware of that.
So we're going to play a game called Flex or Asshole.
Flex or asshole?
Flex or asshole. Now, you, as the contestant, you have to answer quick, top of your head, right? Don't overthink it. I know that's not you.
I know that's not me. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm not going to offend you with whatever I say?
No, you will not offend me with whatever you say. Or you could say neither, right?
Okay, so it's a flex, asshole, or neither.
Yep. And neither probably means that this is a well thought out power exchange bonding moment.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
We're sitting in the living room, and for the last 87 days at 5 p.m., I have walked the dog. Today, you say, geez, I'm tired. I am really tired. I'm just going to sit here and take a nap. I say, no, you're going to walk the dog.
Off the top of my head?
Yes, off the top of your head.
Asshole.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You're allowed. You will not be punished for any answer. And there's no because. I just want to hear your answer. Right? Same situation, except
Doesn't
for.
mean I won't do it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I will get up and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Same situation, except for I'm on a work call that goes late. And I say, hey, go walk the dog.
See, that's neither.
Right. That's legitimate power exchange.
Right.
I have a need. I have a need for service. Go do the thing. Okay. I am in the midst of this podcast right now. I say, go get me a Diet Coke.
See, I'd see that as a flex.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Okay.
And so far, Dawn is correct. Oh, good. Well, this is helping. So that's, that's where that's at, right? It's a matter of, it's really not that hard to distinguish asshole, right?
Yeah, it's not. And I could explain away asshole for the first one. So, and I it's just that it's cold outside and I want to stay warm and I'm tired and I want to take a nap. And
Right.
you always walk the dog. So that's why it would drift into that.
Not
Doesn't mean
only-
it's not allowed.
Right.
Sorry. Doesn't mean it's not allowed, right? We've been together for 22 years at this point, I think. Formally for 20, but we're drifting into 22 years. And hell, I'm going to be an asshole at some points and a bitch. You're going to be an asshole at some points, as to what the other person thinks. But, and you could have thought it as a flex. And wherever my head was, that's not what I
All right.
thought.
Got another
Sorry.
one. Flex or
Okay.
asshole.
All right.
I come upstairs. You're
are
upstairs. Whatever. I notice that the bed's made. I compliment. You did a good job on the bed.
Yes, sir.
I walk over. I grab the sheets, throw them on the floor, and say, do it again.
Flex.
Yeah. Boom. That's a
Yeah,
flex.
That's a flex.
Yep. Why is that not asshole, though?
Why is that not asshole?
How about same situation?
I don't know.
I go upstairs. The bed's made. I don't say anything about that. I just grab the sheets and rip them off and say, do it again.
Oh, that's going to feel like asshole.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because the difference is one is an asshole. The other is I acknowledge that your service is good. Good enough. You've done everything I've told you to. It pleases me to have you do it again. There is almost in many flexes, there is a sense of either, I don't want to say humor, but irony. And that's not quite right either.
That's not quite right either.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's in that neighborhood of that area, right?
Yeah.
Now, for whatever reason, right, you've got your druthers, right, going. Same situation. I acknowledge how nice the bed's made. You say, thank you. I grab the sheets and I pull them off. I say, make it again. And you say, you know what? Fuck that. I just made the bed. I'll make it later. And you go back to what you're doing.
Can you see me saying that?
Now, we've established already this is a flex. In that situation, it's just a flex. Should I, and could I, and would I punish you?
Absolutely.
You had no weight.
hesitation. You know what? And I would want you to, because it's none of my business, really. I mean, now if it drifts into asshole,
Yes.
then it's my business, and then I need to be looking at it and see if this is really the relationship I want. But whether it's flexing or an occasional asshole or a learning lesson, that's not for me to decide. I'm supposed to be obeying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to weigh that and see, oh, is this a flexing? Am I allowed to just say no?
Oh, man.
Can you see me saying that, though?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
No. Look at Peachy's comment there.
Peachy's a brat. Am I supposed to look at that? No,
Yeah,
sorry,
exactly.
Peachy.
Why, right? Because...
Okay. Yeah, because she does say brat energy. Sorry, I have to lean real close to see the monitor.
But I think what Peachy's is saying is that I am... that's what a flex is.
Peachy, you're not supposed to tell him what I said.
No, we don't know what you said.
I know.
But
I told her you have brat energy.
That's kind of, isn't it, though? There's a little bit of a brat sort of... And again, right, we use the word, it's not quite irony, and it's not quite bratting either, but it's in that neighborhood, right? It's somewhere in there.
Yeah. So, and he can be that way. And
Is the comment above saying Dan's a stereotypical asshole? I just,
no, Dawn is correct. That is helping. I want to know the same. Oh, that was Peachy. One is intentionally hurting. This is hi there cat suit. Hi,
well,
cat
hi
suit.
there, cat suit wouldn't say anything bad.
The other is testing the power, the flex.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And then Peachy's saying brat energy, which is true. Though, sorry, I shouldn't have said you were a brat either. I thought you were talking about you, but it could be talking about Dan too.
I think
So-
I think that's the right descriptor.
Yeah, true. And you know what? And I can usually tell because I don't. I was telling the girls earlier on the submissive round table, and I say girls because we were all girls, in that it is hard for me to brat. It is hard for me to be playful. I have such a strong aversion to disrespect of you that it's really hard for me to do that. But if you had bratty energy and a smile on your face when you whipped that blanket off, I may have tried to be playful in return. So, and I may have tried to brat and put my hands on my hips and say, I don't think so. Man, can you see me doing that? This is really, I'm trying sometimes. I was telling people on the submissive round table when we were talking about brattiness that the couple of times over the last year that I've tried to be bratty because I'm trying to expand my horizons, it's gone right over Dan's head because he's not used to it. So he didn't even
Absolutely
know.
True.
He didn't even know
Absolutely
I was playing.
True. And then the last bit about this is that the obvious, maybe not obvious, right? Here's an easy distinguisher between flex and asshole, right? Anything along any of those lines that I do with anybody that's not you. Asshole. You can't flex somebody who is not already in a power exchange relationship with you.
True.
Right?
True. Yeah. I mean, literally, if you're not in a relationship with them, or do you mean if they are just like newly collared?
No, not in a relationship.
Not in a
right?
relationship.
Somebody
That
I
is
met on
not
FetLife.
flexing. Yeah,
Right.
you are not allowed to flex with people that are not yours.
Right. It is by default
that
not
is
a flex.
asshole.
It is by default you are the classic dominant asshole. Right?
Yeah.
Because there is that level of that you have to have the initial connection start. And really, I could make a tiny exception for there are occasions where I will try to flex with Kat, but Kat flexes back.
Yeah, so that's
that's
being bratty. That's not flexing.
Pretty much. All right. So there you go. There's the dominant flex. I'm glad that you enjoy being right, Peachy. So there you go. So Dawn, I want you, speaking of Kat, I just got back from spending some time with Kat in the land of COVID. I don't know how you guys do polyamory in the land of COVID, but
It's complicated.
yeah, well, we do once every 2 months. And this is somebody I've been with for 6 years.
Well, that's because we have to quarantine for 10 days beforehand and before the date.
Yeah.
So, which means I can't go get Bat's daughter to come here to spend time and to get out of her house, and grocery shopping's done different. Post office is done different.
And I will probably post on one of the polyamory boards the cost to you of me going on a date is that you had to, I told you, hey, look, I'm going to quarantine for 10 days prior to going out with Kat for reasons. Without really getting it in my head, that meant that you were quarantining for
Right,
those
because
same
you
10
put it
days.
on your calendar.
Right.
And I'm looking at your calendar. I'm like, this needs to go on our calendar.
We
because
live
if
together,
you're
right?
quarantining, then I'm quarantining. Yeah.
The point being, I went to what we do during quarantine time. We go to Airbnb, and they provided breakfast, which was like Jimmy Dean sausage bowls in a freezer type thing.
Okay.
But one of the things they provided was
Uh-oh.
this, and I will show Mr. Camera. This is a Mrs. Butterworth's pancake in a cup. This is a pancake in a oodles of noodles container.
Is it? It says it's cinnamon roll flavored.
Yes, but
do you do anything with it, or
it is
do you
a
just nuke
pancake
it?
breakfast cup. It cooks
You
in a
nuke it,
minute.
so
You nuke it. I assume you put
So it's kind of like a cupcake, a pancake cupcake.
add cold water, and then microwave it. And I think that's kind of what it is some kind of a
Pancake in a cup.
I don't know. This is a pancake in a cup. I posted actually this to Facebook.
I saw it on Facebook. Yeah.
And I love one of the responses I got was, how did I not know about this new leap forward in pancake technology?
Would you rather have that or the blueberry pancakes I fix you at home?
Absolutely rather have the blueberry pancakes you fix me at home. The only reason I brought this home is because, well, actually, I want to try it. What the fuck is a pancake in a cup? I want to try a pancake in a cup. I've never had such a thing. I'm going to try it. So beyond that, Dawn, you have good gosh, you've done
A lot
a lot recently.
in the last week.
But you must enjoy it because look at what else you got coming up.
Well, I do. Well, Thursday night I did OWL, and then you were going to be gone for the weekend. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do a couple of my other classes because I'm going to be home because the boyfriend is prepping to leave, so he's not available.
Speaking of a flex, hey, Patreon people, this is your opportunity to flex. Do you know why Dawn scheduled one of those classes? Because on our Patreon chat, you told her to.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you guys get to flex too. You flex all over, Dawn.
Yeah.
I guess you can flex on me too.
Yeah, well, the one that they wanted me to do, I haven't done yet. So it's not scheduled just yet, but it is going to be scheduled. The Survivor one?
Yeah.
Nope, I haven't done that yet. I was going to do it while you were gone and realized I needed my support net.
Fair.
So I'm going to wait till you're home and do it on an evening when you're home instead of when you're gone. Because I thought I was going to do it on the night that you're going to recharge, so you're going to be away and off on your own, so just breathing. And yeah, I'm going to wait till you're home in case I need a safety net because I haven't done it on Zoom before.
Yep.
So no, but I did do mindfulness in service, right? So I did OWL Thursday night, and then Saturday I did mindfulness in service, which was yesterday, and then behind the curtain, how to organize a high protocol event. Oh my God. I had to tell people because I read the notes because I had made that for a 50-minute class because all my classes at Subs and Service, all the classes I have the presenters do are 50 minutes, right? 50 minutes, 10-minute break, 50 minutes, 10-minute break. So I'm reading the notes and realized I had stuff missing. So I added 2 pages of notes. So it was an hour-and-a-half class, and I had to warn people. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go through the things. I don't usually do this, but try to hold your questions till the end. There is so much stuff, and the middle things don't have a logistical order because you could do this or could do this first or could do this first. So just hold on. Let me get my mouth going. I'm going to run it until I'm done, and then please have your questions. So, and that worked out really well.
And what was that one?
That one was behind the curtain organizing a formal event.
So it sounds like
formal teas, formal dinners, the formal play party event that we used to have. So all of that. Who's in charge? Who's paying for it? Where are you having
Doesn't sound like one we can do in 20 minutes on the podcast.
No. Sorry, it's not. But I have promised to do it again. So all the classes that I'm doing, people are missing the Zoom stuff, so I'm rescheduling them. So the evening ones, I've now started 2 months behind daytime. So if you've missed a beginning class, you can go back the next month because I'm going to be
doing it
during
again.
the day.
Neat.
And during the day, yeah.
All right, well, tell people real quick what you got coming up so we can move on.
Okay, so this could be me or us. So Wednesday, we are actually going to speak to the authors at Columbus's Kinky Book Club.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's going to
now,
be fun.
if you look under our names on FET, Dan and Dawn, anything that we're doing together is listed under us hosting that event. Mm-hmm. If it's something I'm doing on my own, I'm hosting it under my name, which is Dan Zarani. But I make sure both accounts say that they're maybe going. They're either going or maybe going. So regardless, if you look under Dan and Dawn or Dan Zarani, it's going to be in the event list. So February 24th is the Columbus Kinky Book Club. We will be discussing Living MS.
And then on the 27th, we are headed down to Orlando.
I wish.
Side note, we're not really going anywhere.
Oh, I'd love to see Master Cecil and Darcy.
Absolutely.
So
the woodshed down there's a fantastic thing to do if you ever head down that way. But anyway, we'll be presenting for the Orlando Much, creating a powerful power exchange relationship.
Mm-hmm. And then March 5th, we are doing a class for Pragmatically Kinky, which is a mashup, multiple power exchange relationship.
That is a fun one.
So we've got a lot of power exchange stuff going on between now and March 5th, right? And then if you hang out, if you sign up for the newsletter, we'll have a lot more dates. So we've got another live Zoom coming up, another Patreon chat, another live podcast. Plus I'm throwing in Eros Gathering. I'm excited about this Zoom thing because in person, when I do things on my own, I have a certain way that I do it because I'm not energetic like Dan is, right? Dan is very energetic, charismatic. You improv very well, so you work really well with the audience. I don't, so I do certain things a different way, right? On Zoom, I get to do it in a completely different way, which I'm actually enjoying.
Well, good.
So,
and if you subscribe to the newsletter, you get your name called out as a cool person like Het in Maryland.
Or Mike from Virginia.
Or Ayup Ali in Ohio. And I see Ayup Ali, you are actually listening in and on our live podcast right now. This is your opportunity to say that we're idiots. That is not how your name is pronounced.
Awesome.
If you'd like to tell us we're idiots, head over to eroticawakening.com and find the Get Your EA shoutouts. Sign up for the occasional newsletter. Blah, 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 blah.
To get the latest podcast news, plus discounts on books and more. So with that newsletter, I try to send out notices when we have new books come in, when we have classes come in. I try to get everything that we have scheduled on the newsletter, but sometimes I'll find that I have a free night and schedule a class. So again, keep an eye on FetLife.
Fair enough.
Kickstarter cards.
So, time to play Kickstarter.
Yay.
Pick a card for me.
Pick a card.
Close your eyes, though, because I don't want you to know what color you're getting.
Oh, okay. Because there are 4 colors, and they each do something different.
Okay.
Okay, I've pulled one.
All right, put that one down.
Oh, I didn't see it.
All right, now pull another one with your eyes closed. This one's for you. The first one's for me. This one's for you.
Okay, left hand's yours, right hand's
All right,
mine.
give me this one.
Okay, you
All
got
right.
it.
Dawn,
Yes.
how do you feel?
What color? What color is it?
It's red.
Is it red?
Yes,
that means
a scene.
it's a scene.
Dawn,
Yes.
how do you feel about impact play?
Ooh, impact play. I do love impact play. There's some impact implements I don't like, but I do like impact play. So spanking, canes, some paddles, quirts, all that type of stuff. Ooh, what happened to our quirts?
Oh, we haven't used a quart in a long time.
We used to have 2 of them. So, though I don't know that I consider those impact play.
No, those are stingy.
Those are more whips.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that people will ask you, if you're into impact play, they'll ask you, do you like stingy or thuddy? And I totally confuse them because I'm like, I like fire. And they're like, no, we're not talking about fire. I'm like, no, there's some implements that feel like fire. Quirts feel like fire.
Yes.
Dragon's tails, dragon tongues, anything that's got that triangle of leather on the end.
Yep.
It's not stingy like what else is stingy? Crops are stingy to me. Crops are stingy. Don't like them. Thuddy, obviously thuddy, right? Paddles and things like that. Some wood paddles are stingy. Ooh.
You don't know what you like. You like canes.
I love canes. To me, canes are fire.
I want to point out that this particular card, Impact Play, was contributed by the Guilty Pleasure Stage Show, which you can find out more information at gpstageshow.com. The reason that they contributed to this card is they helped us financially to make these cards come to life.
They did years ago.
Absolutely.
So, and they've been around for years. Actually, the first thing I ever did public kinky was because of the Guilty Pleasure Stage Show.
Yep.
I didn't know it at the time, but anyway. Okay, so the one for you.
Yes.
Camera. So this is a green card, which is an accessory.
I
Camera. Do you like playing with cameras?
absolutely love. We're going to use the term camera, right? Whether it's taking pictures with the phone, video with the phone, or now we have this nice fancy Canon camera. I'm this weekend going to be taking the camera away, but not taking pictures of it. I love taking pictures, and I will say that my absolute favorite porn to watch is porn that either I have shot on my little phone or that somebody has taken for me and sent to me.
Yeah.
Right. Because both of those, and I have to admit, and I don't know if anybody else has this problem, because maybe it's how old I am, right? I kind of am starting to find porn in general to be more and more boring.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've noticed that over the last few months.
yeah, it's not because the skill or the porn has changed. It's just that, I've seen it a billion times, right?
And what I haven't seen is because I don't want to.
The stuff that I haven't,
me.
I like. So if we were going to talk about porn, the stuff that I like is stuff that I haven't seen before. So, and it's not because it's super bizarre or anything. It's just because I haven't seen that angle on it, or I didn't know that such a thing existed. Right? Hold the Moan was my favorite Reddit for a while because I didn't know that was a. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that one's sexy.
Yeah. But having porn that I have some connection to, right? So that's why camera is there
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
because of the connection.
Well, some of our hottest times together, you have recorded us during it and then replayed us on the film while we're still doing it.
Yeah. Yes, I absolutely have.
So, well, he's fucked me with a tentacle dildo before, right? Filmed it, and then had me watch it while he continues to do it. So that's hot.
Yep.
Well, see, for me, that feeds my voyeurism, exhibitionism, so
Combo sort of thing going on there,
and
yeah.
we use the camera as just a tool to make that part happen.
Exactly. All right, so there's the old Kickstarter cards. We're just about wrapping this thing up. Dawn's checking the feedback from our little window there.
Hi there, Catsuit. Got to do pictures with fetish models last night.
Just last night.
Lucky.
I am not that skillful with this new camera that I've got here. I am taking it away this week, and I'm going to work on it. I've joined a ton of camera groups. You know, it's so funny because back when Columbus had a kinky photo group, and they still have a kinky photo group.
They still have it.
They just don't
not
meet
meeting
anymore.
in person.
Actually, whether they do or not.
It's too cold right now. They were doing
They used
it
to meet at the
outside.
space,
Yes.
and I used to go and I used to watch there, and I used to think I could just take my phone. Phones take great pictures, right? It's really not the same, and I'm starting to
It's
learn
not
that
the
about
same.
this new camera.
And my current phone takes some kick-ass pictures. If you're on my Facebook and sometimes my FET, I'll post these pictures that I take every day. It's part of my cultivation of joy, actually, to take pictures while I do things that I'm enjoying. And they take really good pictures. But you're right. There is a reason that there's a Canon, because it does different things. So that's okay. I've got a recharge night on Thursday night. So you've got one Friday night.
Yes.
I've got one Thursday night. I got nobody going with me, right? It's a recharge night, and I missed out on my cabin last week with the boyfriend because of all the ice. We had to cancel. So I'm taking my leather trench coat. I'm taking some lingerie. There's a hot tub on the back patio that's supposed to be secluded.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to figure out how to take some selfies.
Nice.
Because I'm not going to have anybody with me, right? So, and the way you have bought my phone, what you put on my phone, it's got the little thingy.
It's called an S Pen for those who like.
Well,
that thing too.
thingy,
Yeah.
So that it'll prop up on something, and then you're right. I've got the pen that's got the little clicker on it. Oh, wait, wrong way. Okay. The pen that's got the little clicker on it, so I can have the phone up here and the clicker with me and take pictures.
Nice.
So I'm going to see how that
You gonna put those on
turns out.
Instagram?
Instagram, probably not, but FetLife, yes.
Because
I don't know who's watching the Instagram because, well, I could put some there. It depends how I put the fishnet one there of me sitting on the stairs with the fishnet.
I get it that. All right. So for those that don't know, the Instagram account Erotic Awakening is mainly about our real life. What it is mainly
True.
about is, so for example, I see a note here that the last thing you posted on Instagram was a picture of Ginger the polydog.
For National Pet Day, and I hashtagged it National Pet Day, which means anybody that's looking at National Pet Day,
I
like
gotcha.
with the blessing box.
Yes.
I put a picture of the blessing box that I've been donating to on our Instagram. Well, Columbus Blessing Boxes found it and liked it and, did things on it. And I'm like, don't they see we're called Erotic Awakening? I mean, how many people?
Hey.
We are called Erotic Awakening, so I guess. But anyway, I did a fishnet pose that I did on the stairs and put it out there. So these
Notice
just won't be naked.
I didn't have anything after hey. I was just like, hey, I got nothing. Got nothing there. One thing that if you started a podcast like Hi There Catsuit, one of the things you probably don't expect is somebody to write you and say, I love your podcast so much. Always a highlight of my trip to Costco.
Yep, that's where I listen to it.
Because that's where they listen to it. And I totally dig that, right? I used to listen to podcasts on my drive to work. I don't have a drive to work anymore. So if you listen to the podcast at Costco or wherever you listen, we're grateful that you listen. So thank you for Minotaurus, who said so.
We used to have people that listened to it at work before there was Bluetooth headphones. Right, we've been doing this for like 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
So people would have the plug-in things. So they'd have to be really careful not to yank their head and pull that plug out.
Who was it that had your moan?
My moan. So we did a podcast where Dan caned me. So on the spanking bench, which is right over here behind the monitor, and the moans were on the podcast. And it was from Australia.
Oh, Bungie.
Right. So Bungie had it as his ringtone and was in a business meeting.
And his ringtone goes off. You're living dangerous.
So, very true.
Minotaurus wrote in also as well with the Deep, Dark, and Dangerous logo because
it has a one-eyed octopus on it.
So there's your tentacles.
So, and I have not put on here, but I have had people reaching out to me on FetLife and sending me Fet mails about how appreciative they are of the podcast and how finding it and stuff. So I need to dig up those Fet mails and get shout outs on here as well. Because there's recently a lot of people that have been mentioning that.
Anything left on the comments of our live streaming podcast?
Remember to pick up the toilet paper, kickstand, drive-throughs. Hi there, Catsuit likes to go through drive-throughs with a sexy podcast on his radio.
Fair enough. That's completely reasonable, if you ask me.
Cool. So take a moment to support the podcast.
Rate us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Or just tell your friends.
If you like what we're doing, head over to patreon.com, Erotic Awakening, and take a look at the options and the opportunity to flex. So far, we have never had a Patreon member say, why don't you guys do this that we haven't done?
That is true.
You could be the first. And then we'll talk about whether that was a flex or an asshole move. Take a look at options like this kind of stuff, extra content, and more.
We'll have information for the next Zoom meeting coming out soon. Bye, Dan.
Bye, Don. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Oh, it was Peachy's birthday, and I forgot. Happy birthday, Peachy.
Oh,
so,
birthday bell.
Ding, 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 ding.
Happy birthday, Peachy. We really appreciate you and your continued support of the podcast and all of our Patreon members, but especially you, Peachy, because it's your birthday. So
she's in California. So
yeah,
I'm
fuck you, Peachy.
She's all warm.